All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? What a day for the U.S. men's national team to get their 2026 World Cup underway. We are out in Little Italy, Schaefer and Sliwa. Just a spectacular afternoon. This place is going to be packed coming up over the course of the next couple of hours. And, Alan, we're getting our listeners ready.
Brother.
Between now and 5:30.
How good is this?
It doesn't get better than this, right? It doesn't get better than this. It is a
What is going on here?
Just spectacular. Look at this setup. Piazza, Little Italy, 70 degrees, Chamber of Commerce type day.
This is truly, truly beautiful. This one, I'm trying to think here. What was this? Somebody was telling me a little bit earlier. I know years ago, obviously, this didn't exist. Maybe in the last, I don't know how new this is, maybe 7-10 years. I don't even think it's that new. Or I don't think it's that old.
7, we're being told.
7 years
old.
7 years. All right, 7 years. This was just, I think, a street before. Look what SD does.
It's amazing.
You got the background, you got the water, the setup here. So just so people know, if you're looking for a place to watch this game, USA, come down here. There's literally going to be no better place that you can watch it. What a beautiful scene here.
It really is. Now, let's get you ready for today, because obviously we're getting you ready for a U.S. men's national team in Paraguay. Darren Smith. Nobody better in this market on soccer than D. Smith.
Oh, we got a lot of
STFC games.
We got a lot of one Knicks question in there.
We got Knicks questions, a lot of Knicks questions for Darren. He'll join us at 5. Kevin Acee in Baltimore with the Padres will get their road trip underway this afternoon. Kevin will join us at 3:30. Ben Golliver, ESPN NBA reporter, will join us coming up at 4:30. I'm really now that the World Cup is here, just start there with us being in Little Italy. I am really looking forward to tonight. We've seen what's played out with the other home nations. Mexico got a win at Azteca in Mexico City. Canada got a result against Bosnia. They came back and tied it 1-1. A lot of pressure, I would say, on Team USA tonight against Paraguay.
Yeah, especially, the first game. Obviously, the game's going to be at SoFi. You got the entire country. Really, you got the entire world. And there's pressure to come out of their group. There's real pressure there. Not to say that people are expecting them to get to the quarterfinals or the semifinals or something like that. But Mexico came out with a bang yesterday. You get a 2-0 win. You kind of set your own stage. You play at the Azteca, and you let all the Mexican fans and, of course, all the Mexican Americans out here in Southern California enjoy their first day. It is something. You're right. It's now up to the United States to kind of respond. And just like Mexico did yesterday, it's up to them. Not get a tie, go get a W.
Go get a W, I agree. How about this for the talkback for Dave Chappelle tickets? What are your expectations for the U.S. men's national team this summer in this World Cup? Are you content with them getting out of the group or getting to the round of 16? Do you need to see a quarterfinal, more or less? What are your expectations? Let us know on the talkback, Mike. Open the iHeartRadio app. It's free. Search for San Diego Sports 760. Click on the talkback, Mike, and tell us your expectations for U.S. men's national team to win tickets to see Dave Chappelle June 21st at Viejas Arena. The only way to win is on that talkback, Mike.
I'm going to answer that question for you.
Please do.
Darren was on, and this is something we could talk to him about. I was asking Darren last week. I'm like, hey, what should the expectations be for the United States? He said something that I thought was so interesting. Let's put aside, get out of your group. Put aside win in the single elimination when you're down to 16. Basically said, get everyone talking about USA soccer.
Right.
Can you get
the nation's awareness on it?
How about just our country, where everyone's saying, instead of saying, hey, here's where, look, we're going to always lead. We're talking a lot of Padres, or we're talking NBA finals, stuff like that. But I thought it was interesting. I thought it was interesting perspective from him, basically saying, is it possible that you can get your own country to stop talking about everything else saying, look what USA is doing? And whatever that means as far as their success, I think that's probably the right goal.
Speaking of expectations, as we turn our attention for a few moments to the Padres beginning this road trip in Baltimore, a homecoming of sorts for Manny Machado, there's an article at ESPN.com at this hour about baseball's biggest disappointments. And remarkably, it's not just Manny Machado on the list. The first two on the list are actually Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis Jr. I'd probably push back on Tatis right now in terms of a disappointment. Now, I'm not saying he's been some success story, but are you willing to move past Tatis being a true disappointment in baseball, considering he's hitting 281, he's hit 400 in his last 20 games, roughly? I get the Machado. He's the lowest hitter in baseball among qualified hitters in batting average. But is Tatis... Listen, it's not about lowering expectations. I'm not saying he's been Tatis, but has he been a true failure based on what he's done here recently?
So here's the article. Let me give you how they how they broke it down.
Okay.
So they have early verdict on 2026 MLB disappointments. And Machado's got the front cover.
Right.
He's literally throwing his bat. That's the picture that they have. It's
We've used that picture before.
Well, I was just gonna say, if I'm ESPN, it's like, okay, we get it.
Yeah.
Okay, I do. Can you use somebody else?
Right.
So here's what they do in the article. They start going through Manny Machado, no longer an elite hitter. They go through all the reasons, and then they come to a verdict at the end. And the verdict at the end is basically saying, like, yeah, this disappointment, it's a real disappointment, and it's probably going to be an issue moving forward. For Machado, the verdict is yes, this is real.
Okay.
For Tatis, who's the second one on here, and they title him has turned into a singles hitter, which, by the way, is not something we want to hear, but that's the reality of what's happening.
Yeah.
Their verdict on him, not real. As in, whatever you've seen through the first 2.5 months of the season, they think it's going to change. Whatever you've seen through the first 2.5 months of the season for Machado, it seems like this might be the new Machado moving forward.
Let me sell you on this.
So I answered kind of the Tatis one. I don't think they think it's real.
Let me sell you on this and tell me if you're buying or selling this.
Okay.
Here's what I'm selling. Tell me if you're a buyer. Mm-hmm. I think Machado turns this thing around, and I think it begins this weekend in Baltimore, which is a great hitter's park where he spent a long time, and I think this is at least a series you can circle for Machado for those reasons. Good hitter's yard. He certainly is aware of what he means to Baltimore. He'll get a standing ovation, according to Kevin Acee, or he's well-liked in Baltimore. It's like the only place he goes on the road where he's well-liked.
They played at Fenway. He was booing him. I'm like, wait, what? Fenway too?
Oh, yeah. He'll absolutely get booed there. Mm-hmm. And then here's the other thing I'm selling. I think the Tatis run that he's on is real because I do think right now he's already turned the corner. The thing that people want to see, of course, the home runs. Chicks dig the long ball. You know, I mean, yeah, you can't finish the year with 4 home runs. We all agree with that. But if all of a sudden he hits a couple of home runs here in June and continues to hit this way, I mean, he's 2 games away from hitting like 300 right now with the way he's hitting. 6 hits in his last 2 games. I mean, I'm a buyer right now in Tatis. I'd buy Machado because I'm buying low. So that's what I'm selling.
I'm not. I could be in for a portion of it. Okay. But nothing has told me Machado's going to turn it around. Mm-hmm. And frankly, just listening to Machado and a lot of his quotes and some of these pressers, I don't know if he's sold he's going to turn it around.
That's fair.
I think he's starting to get to a point, too, where, yes, I do. There's no defense to the way he's been playing. So I hesitate on that. The Tatis I could be sold on. I mean, the Tatis, I just look. You and I were talking a little bit about this yesterday.
Yeah.
The nice thing is, too, he's also getting some extra base hits, that it's not just singles, even though that's been predominant. His game this year is singles. They're going to need both of these guys. So even if Tatis is the one that starts turning things around, I still think the Padres are in trouble without Machado. I still think the Padres are in trouble without Jackson Merritt. Like, you need 2 of these 4 guys to be elite, to be in the conversation of, hey, these are clearly the 2 best players on this team. And right now it's kind of on a night-in, night-out basis. I wish I could sit here and BS you and tell you that, yeah, I'm in on your Machado pitch, but I don't think I am.
Would you buy it at a low amount? I'm not asking you to, like, mortgage your home.
No, but you're asking me to buy a timeshare that I don't want to buy.
But aren't you buying it?
I don't want to buy the timeshare.
Even if it's a deal. Yeah, you're right. It's got some problems. Like, yeah, you got to fix the kitchen. You know, you might have to fix some of the sinks. But you're getting a deal, man.
There's 4 for sale signs outside, and you're trying to sell your unit.
I am.
If I get it at a deal, I know what you're trying to say. Look, my confidence level on a lot of these guys offensively is low. My confidence on the Padres, I'm not going to BS you, it's low. They went through a portion of the season where they were winning a lot of games where we're kind of questioning, should they be winning this? How are they winning this? Yep. And now they're just going through a stretch where we're celebrating winning 2 of 3 against Cincinnati.
We're not celebrating.
They got to convince. I just kind of take the mantra of, like, give me 30 days of some good baseball. Give me a couple of weeks of some good baseball.
But here's what I would say on Machado, just real quick, because I'm looking it up.
Yeah.
And you're right. I mean, I want to see the team play well, and I want to see these individual quote-unquote stars play well for an extended period of time. But, like, it's hard for me to poke holes in what Tatis has done over the last 22 games. He's hit 367 with a 900 OPS. And people would say, but John, he's only hit 2 home runs. I said, okay. But at one point, we do need to acknowledge he's been a much better offensive weapon.
He's been much better.
He's been much better. Now, is it true that maybe this is part of the lowering your expectations conversation? Maybe I'm doing it right now by saying.
I think you have.
but 367 over 22 games means he actually is playing good baseball. Maybe it's not the best baseball in the sport. He hasn't hit 10 home runs over those 22 games. But I just want to recognize that Fernando Tatis Jr. actually is playing well right now.
What changes the conversation of, like, let's say if you all of a sudden started seeing some of his power come back.
Yes.
Now it's like the conversation of Tatis, we're done.
Yeah. When are you in on that? Like if he hits 2 home runs the next 2 series, hits 1 in Baltimore, hits 1 in St. Louis. That's 3 now in the last 3 series.
What do we need? Can you get up to 8 in the next 30 days?
Yeah, okay, that's fair. Yeah, can you go hit 5 or 6?
I don't think it's fair because I don't think he's going to. But I think if you're all of a sudden now, it's like, hey, Tatis has a respectable home run total, and he also has he's got a stretch here where now he's not only slapping singles, hitting balls hard in the infield that get through, getting a couple of doubles, but now all of a sudden he's back to a real threat with a bat of he can hit a 3-run homer and change the complexion of the game.
I like that.
Now, I don't know if it's realistic because I've just watched, what did we watch, 65 games of him with 2 home runs.
True, although 2 of them have at least come more recently than the first 50 games.
True.
All right, on the other side, we want to know your expectations for the U.S. men's national team during this 2026 World Cup. Tell us on the talkback mic. Open the iHeartRadio app, search for 760, click the red microphone icon. Just by doing that, you can win a pair of tickets to see Dave Chappelle on June 21st at Viejas Arena. Plus, Kevin Acee, our Padres Insider from Baltimore, joining us at 3:30. We're live from Little Italy. Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760, and live on the iHeartRadio app. Schaefer and Sliwa live from Little Italy. This is the spot to beat tonight. Team USA against Paraguay. We're going to be here. Match gets underway at 6. Look at this setup. We've got this large screen.
Unbelievable setup.
We're in the piazza, which is just spectacular. It's 70 degrees out. This is the spot to beat tonight. You can come hang out with us over the next couple of hours. We're broadcasting live, and then be here tonight for USA and Paraguay.
I could see you, once the game starts, instantly going into the Princess Pub Grill and probably not leaving till around 2:30, 3:30 in the morning.
No, I'm not leaving that early.
It's a little early, right?
No, I'm staying.
You're going to stay in whatever games they have tomorrow.
If we get the result we're looking for, I'm sticking around.
If we get the result we're looking for, I'm sticking around. Let me tell you what I think that means.
It means I want us to win.
I think that means if USA ends up winning this, that you'll probably be out of here by 7:18.
7:18? The match won't be over at 7:18.
8:18.
So 8:18. 8:18.
You take me as a guy.
Here's the thing.
You take me as a guy like you brush your teeth around 9, and it's like, let's call it a day.
No, I stay up late, dude.
You stay up that late?
I do a lot of nighttime, like YouTube shows.
You
talking
stay up
Padres baseball. I'm up late,
okay.
dude. I'm at 11 or 12.
My apologies.
I'm up to 11. That's so late. Now, my wife's in bed at 9 o'clock, but no.
That's where we are in our lives. 11 o'clock is late.
But I will say this. This is going to be a scene tonight.
Oh, it's going to be
no matter what happens. But if the
here.
U.S. wins tonight, this is going to be a scene to kick off your weekend down here on this spectacular day. So we're asking you to let us know your expectations for the U.S. men's national team. Tell us on the talkback mic. Open up the iHeartRadio app. Search for San Diego Sports 760 and click on the red talkback microphone. And just by doing that, you are eligible to win a pair of tickets to see Dave Chappelle. That's going to be at Viejas Arena on June 21st. So wait, are your expectations, though, going back to that, just that the nation's attention is on the team, or do you have a distance they need to go?
If the nation's attention is on the team, that means they're
going
balling.
Far.
I mean, listen, if you got to have the group stage and you won one of these elimination games.
So it starts at the round of 32 this year.
Mm-hmm. So
if you get to the round of 16, that would be winning a knockout game. Because it used to be the knockout was at 16.
Yeah,
but now
at
it's
16.
at 32.
Yeah, I think if you get to the final 16, I think that sounds like that would be a good World Cup for the USA. Anything on top of that, you'd be not shocked, but you'd be really surprised if they're in the top 8.
For some dumb reason, I keep asking you if you're buying or selling something that I'm going to.
What are we buying or selling?
Let me ask you.
Okay.
Are you buying or selling that one of the 3 host countries reaches the semifinals? Between Mexico, USA, and Canada, will one of the 3 host countries reach a semifinal?
No.
Buy or sell?
No, I'm selling.
Will one of the 3 make a quarterfinal?
Now we got a shot.
Yeah.
Semifinal. The elite of the elite that's left.
Right.
That's a tough one.
Okay. But you could see Mexico making a quarterfinal or maybe Team USA making a quarterfinal.
Yes. Quarterfinal, yeah. I think quarterfinal's within reach.
Yeah. All right. Kevin Acee is going to join us coming up in about 8 or 9 minutes from Baltimore. The Padres will begin a 9-game road trip this afternoon coming up within the hour. It's the Padres and the Orioles. Padres, I do agree with what you said earlier about the fact that, it's not are we celebrating a series win over the Reds, but they need to show us more. I mean, they're 4-12 in their last 16 games. So it's not like everything's been fixed based on this past series.
And they didn't play clean against the Reds. It's not like it was perfect baseball. It's not like they came out and it's we know the game that they lost. So many opportunities. We talked about it extensively. We don't have to keep getting into Machado up with the bases loaded, not able to bring the runner home from third with 1 out. But they were, listen, this is where I think they deserve credit. They're down 4-2 in was it the 7th or the 8th? 8th inning down 4-2. And there is just nothing going for the Padres. And they somehow find a way to, obviously put themselves in a position to tie it up at 4.
Yep.
And then it's how they end that game that gives them the day off tomorrow. They fly all the way out to Baltimore where they could feel good about themselves. It's Tatis walking it off at Petco.
Yep.
So give them that momentum, right? And that doesn't mean that you and I are trying to oversell something. You've watched you probably consume more Padres baseball and talk about it more than anybody in the business, literally, with all the pods you do and everything else, including the 3-hour show. Are they giving you much of an indication that, hey, this is a team that's going to be fighting for a World Series? They have not given that to me. Whatever your opinion is, I have not got that indication.
No.
But with that being said, it's you still need to get, in order to churn something around, something has to happen to get some energy, and they had a little bit of that against Cincinnati.
Yeah, I can answer it this way. You're spot on. The answer is definitively no. I don't see them today as a World Series contender, but the good news is it's June, what's today's date? June 12th?
June 12th.
I mean, June 12th is a long way off from the start of the postseason.
Sure.
So it doesn't mean they're going to be better. It doesn't mean they will, but it doesn't mean they can't look a lot different once we get there, if they're even fortunate enough to be in the postseason. So that's the one thing I would say about baseball. It changes so much. I think their roster could turn over a good amount between now and the postseason. Trade deadline, their health, whether they get fortunate or not. We'll see about players like Nick Pivetta or Joe Musgrove, Ramon Laureano, even,
good point. Sure,
and others.
Sure.
So I agree with you completely. I don't think this looks like a true contender in the National League today, but I hope somewhere along the way that changes in my mind.
And how many truly are there? Because, I mean, I think in the entire NL,
3.
You're looking at 3. Maybe you want to stretch that to 4 if you say Philadelphia.
I agree.
Right? In the American League, okay, it's up. You want to put Tampa, New York.
Definitely.
You tell me. I know we can look at the standings.
Yeah,
I know Toronto, obviously, last year. But how many teams does it really feel like right now got a legitimate chance of winning it all? All right, well, if you just get to the postseason, obviously anything can happen from there. And that's kind of, whether we like it or not, that's the goal. And it was the goal for the Padres before the season started. And the idea and the hope was, can you be a team that's dangerous if you get in? The whole NL West thing, like, obviously there's no point of paying attention there. We were talking about this yesterday. What did we say? They're 7-14 since they lost that one game.
Yeah.
Or after Michael King beats Yamamoto at Petco, they're 7-14 since then.
Yep.
Put the NL West, put all that stuff to the side. Nobody really cares about that because it's not realistic. It's about not just getting into a wild card spot, but feeling like you have a legitimate chance because your team is good.
By the way, to your point, in the American League, there are 2 teams more than 5 games over 500. They are the Tampa Bay Rays and the New York Yankees.
That's
in
it.
The entire American League.
Who's got the third best record in the AL?
The third best record in the AL is shocking. Chicago White Sox, 36-31. First place in the AL Central. So that's it. 2 teams more than 5 games over 500.
Wow.
The Rays, and they would be unexpectedly in the World Series if they reach it because they're the Rays.
Yep.
And then the Yankees, that would not be unexpected. They can add to their roster. They're 41-26. So, yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I agree with your overall sentiment, which is the Padres are on the outside looking into the National League conversation, but I'm still hopeful, and maybe it's just that things can change along the way.
Yeah, and I know why you're hopeful. You're hopeful because a lot of these players that have struggled have had a ton of moments in their career where they were studs.
Yep.
And the hope is that these guys can obviously be back to the version that they once were.
No doubt about it. All right. Kevin Acee in Baltimore, Maryland. He's probably been trying some crab cakes and going to the Baltimore.
Got a Machado
area.
Jersey out there in the crowd. Okay.
He just wrote about.
Let's go.
He just wrote about Manny Machado's struggles. Remember, it was Kevin Acee that quoted Manny as saying, "I suck" right now. So we'll talk to Kevin Acee about Manny Machado's struggles on the other side. He'll join us live from Baltimore, Maryland. Get your talkbacks in. What are your expectations for the U.S. men's national team just by getting those talkbacks in on the iHeartRadio app? You're eligible to win Dave Chappelle tickets coming up this June in San Diego. Stay with us on Schaefer and Sliwa, live on the iHeartRadio app.
This report is sponsored by Anderson Plumbing, Heating, and Air. The Padres are in Baltimore getting set for their series against the Orioles. It's going to be Griffin Canning going for the Friars and Shane Baz going for the O's. First pitch is set for 4:05. We have one final from the World Cup today. Canada and Bosnia tied at 1 apiece. We will have Team USA's game right here on San Diego Sports 760 beginning at 5:30. Plus, we have World Cup action all weekend long, starting tomorrow morning at 11:30 and then again on Sunday morning at 9:30. Choosing the right home service company isn't just about fixing what's broken. It's about trusting who's in your home. That's why homeowners count on Anderson for friendly professional service that keeps everything running right. Visit AndersonPHA.com.
All right, let's go out to Baltimore with our Padres Insider Kevin Acee. Homecoming of sorts, not for Kevin, I don't believe, but for Manny Machado. And Kevin published a lengthy piece within the last 24 hours in a conversation with Manny Machado. The direct quote from Manny was, "Just say I suck," about his recent struggles here in 2026. So, Kevin, we appreciate you taking time for us, as always, on 760. What struck you most in some of your reporting here on Machado in your conversations with him about these early season struggles?
Well, I found it, like, if you're a Padres fan, if you're the Padres, if you're Manny, of course, it's encouraging that it seems there's mechanical issues and there's things that can be worked on versus, some of the theory was that he's going to be 34 next month. And, there's, what's something that's irreversible, basically, is once the age decline gets, running downhill, you just can't stop that rock. And so that does not appear to be what's happening. And that's based on, like, the metrics of his swing speed and just the other things that, look, the guy went and he tried to get better this offseason by doing some things, get more explosive. It didn't work for him, changed the mechanics, and it's really hard. He's been working to try to get him back, and he seemed close a few times. And, he's the worst hitter in the major leagues in terms of batting average, but he's also the Padres' second he has to lead in home runs. There's reason to believe Manny will get back on track.
Kevin, how unique is it to try to fix something mechanical during the season? I mean, are they optimistic that, all right, it is what it is, we'll try to go back to, like you mentioned, I agree with you. I think it's a great point. I'd rather have something mechanically wrong with what Machado's doing than saying Father Time is caught up. How unique is it to try to fix something in the middle of the season?
This drastic, where somebody went and they tried to achieve a certain goal and change things enough that it got them really off kilter, that's somewhat unique. It's probably more than we know. Like, I, in the course of reporting this, heard of some other players that this has happened to, and it's like, oh, okay. And you look at their numbers and you're not necessarily surprised, but it's not terribly common for it to be this drastic. But guys are always working on stuff, right? But like this particular, where you're like, oh man, because for me, it was like, it was about couple of weeks ago, and I was shown some video and that where I could actually see it and break it down and go, oh my gosh, okay, got it. Now, then not living down some other roads, and I was able to talk to Manny about it, and this was pretty drastic. So this is unique, and like I said, because of that, you're like, okay, got it. There's hope. I'm not saying to fix everything. I'm not saying Manny's going to finish the year hitting 260 with 28 bombs, but like I think it is hopeful.
Kevin Acee is our Padres insider. He also wrote about the work he's done with this like hitting coach on the side. He's not the only player to do it. Aaron Judge works with him, Richard Shank. Is that common or uncommon for players to go like outside their own organization structure and do work on the side with these individual instructors? Is that something Manny had done previously? Are you aware of that or not?
Yeah, he has, but not like with someone new and where he's trying to, achieve something that he felt like he needed to do. And whether that was because he felt like, okay, I'm getting older, and I want to make sure I maintain this, or I learn a new way or whatever. But it's actually fairly common. It's one of the things that hitting coaches become the biggest turnover on a major league staff over the last, say, 6 to 8 years. It's not just the Padres that run through them. Like they, don't care. But it's one of the laments of organizations and hitting coaches, as in major league hitting coaches, is all the work that's done away from the game. And they're not necessarily saying it's bad. It's just that, okay, well, then maybe does the player, now I'm not talking about Manny, but then is the player really listening to what's happening with the team? Or, hey, what is the team in sync with the off-field hitting coach? And maybe one day we'll get to this place where everybody works together on that, but sometimes it seems to teams that they're kind of out of the loop until the player shows up in spring training.
Kevin Acee, our Padres insider, joining us here, Schaefer and Sliwa show. He's in Baltimore. Padres going to get ready to take on the Orioles. Kevin, I know we talked about how Tatis, I think you've said this before, and a few people have. He just wears his emotion on his sleeves. Do you see just this stretch that he's going through? He gets a walk-off home run at Petco to close out that Red Series. Does he seem different the opposite way? Does he, in some of it, the stretch didn't just happen just a couple days ago. He's been playing good baseball here for a handful of weeks. Does he kind of look a little bit different? Does his optimism or his mood, does it look like it's been affected in a positive way?
Yes, I want to say yes. I will answer your question and say yes. I will say that I've stuck up for him all year, that this year he didn't sink to the depths, and it certainly didn't happen as quickly. He actually was, kind of a different guy, and I think he made a real effort to just be more even keel, to be engaged, to be that try to be that energy-giving guy that he has been for them in the past. That was important to the Padres. It was important to him. They worked on it, and then things just got really bad. And so he got down a little bit, and you can see it. And, whatever. It's either here or there. That's who he is. You take the good. Sometimes you get the bad in terms of someone being energetic and wearing their emotions on their sleeve. And so he's better now than he was, say, a couple weeks ago. But I want to make sure I know, I'm saying that, this guy's matured quite a bit. He's 27, and he knew it was important for him to be more even keel and for him to not wear it and kind of let it sort of, just because by the sheer force of his personality, it can kind of bring the team down. He's done a lot better job. But the answer to your question is, if you're going to compare this last week with, say, 2 or 3 weeks ago, yes, Fernando appears to be a lot happier. Here's the thing: during his he's leading the major leagues in batting average. He's right up there in all the numbers over, say, the last 20, 22 games. During that time also, he's had some opportunities to have even bigger games, and he hasn't. So he's been kind of bummed after some games. It's like he wears losses hard too. So he wears losses way harder than he wears wins. I'll tell you that. I guess most people do, but with him, you can really feel it. So it's, I wouldn't say he's bouncing off the walls right now, but there is a different air about him. I'll give you that.
I want to go back to Manny for 1 second, Kevin, because we touched on this a little bit the first 30 minutes of the show. Could it be as simple as getting back to Baltimore, where I'm just looking at his career numbers at Camden Yards? They're absurd. He's hit over 100 home runs, obviously, as an Oriole at home. He's hit 297 with nearly a 900 OPS in his career at Camden Yards. He's feasted as an opponent against Baltimore in his career. I think he has 4 home runs in 13 games. Could Camden Yards get Manny back?
Well, he's enjoyed coming here. This is his 3rd time. I think a combination of the two could, yes. Comfort, and who knows, man. I've never been an elite hitter. He's done it now for 15 years. Maybe just like the fact that he has been saying that he's feeling a lot closer to clicking, and then he's here where he's definitely comfortable and he is loved here. Heck yeah, maybe that could be it.
Kevin, Griffin Canning on the mound tonight for the Padres, or this afternoon. Just what have you made? I mean, I know we have looked at a lot of these starters, especially since Pivetta went down, and of course we've yet to see Joe Musgrove. But what have you thought of Canning and his role, and just what he's been able to do for the Padres?
He is what he is, and that's what I'd say about a 3, 4, 5 starter, right? Probably more a 4 or 5. Since that debacle in Milwaukee, he's been 5 innings. I think there's one quality start in there, maybe 6 and 3 against the Phillies. I think that Like, that's what you signed Griffin Canning to be. And somehow this guy goes out and he can give you that. Then I think you're pleased with that. Where you're like, okay, cool. Like, this is a guy who can get it so that we can get to our back end guys with us having the lead. But he's not the top of the rotation guy. Every single 4 and 5 can pitch like a 1 every once in a while, and Griffin Canning can do that.
Kevin Acee is our Padres Insider. Kevin, final question from me is, were you surprised Bryce Johnson was designated today? Obviously, Xander was the move coming off the paternity list. They probably could have gone with a youngster who had options, but they designate Bryce Johnson. Surprising or not?
Only because of what you said. Like, they didn't necessarily right now need the roster spot, so they may soon. I mean, they're looking for help. Right now, Samad Taylor's the left fielder, and they'll ride that as long as they can. It's Jace Bowen's time, okay, can this guy be our new Bryce Johnson, basically, right? Or will that end up being Samad Taylor? But, right now, Samad's starting. So, yes, but you knew that it wasn't going to be Will Wagner, and you knew it wasn't going to be Samad Taylor, so it came down to Jace, the guy who, all right, I guess if we want to. But you know what? They're probably going to get Bryce. I mean, unless a contender needs a pinch runner kind of guy, a defensive replacement guy, they're probably going to get Bryce Johnson back.
Kevin, final one. No, it's obviously a long road trip, 9-game road trip in total here. What would you define as a good road trip? And you don't even have to say wins and losses. Just what are you hoping to see over the stretch of these 9 games where it feels like the Padres got a little bit of momentum?
Well, it's interesting you say that. I suppose at the end I could say if they were 5 and 4, but they were scoring runs, right, and some things were looking better, I'd be like, okay, all right, that's fine. They probably could have used another win. But I think they're at the point of the season where we can start counting things and say, hey, you guys have stunk recently. You need to solidify a playoff spot. So I'm thinking 6 and 3.
6 and 3, especially with what's to come. Atlanta, LA twice. I mean, it is a really treacherous schedule after this 9-game road trip. Kevin, appreciate it. What is it? I'm assuming it's warm in Baltimore. What's the temperature in Baltimore tonight?
Yeah, let's just say the first time I went outside was to cross the street and come to the ballpark. I don't know. This is going to be a disgusting trip.
All right, yeah. In terms of heat,
he'll be back here in no time. It's nice right now. We're not going to say anything, Kevin, but it's a little nice right now in Little Italy.
Oh, it's so nice. 70 degrees out. Kevin, appreciate you. We'll catch up next week. All right. $95 degrees today.
95 in Baltimore?
In Baltimore with thunderstorms,
beautiful.
60% humidity.
What a beautiful day to just go for a nice little walk. Take the dog out.
I'll tell you what, though. The ball jumps in that type of weather. Humid, hot, small ballpark.
Yeah, we could use that.
We're going to see some runs this weekend.
We could use that.
All right. Where does this NBA Finals stack up with all of them in the history of the league on television in terms of ratings? We will tell you
ranking
on
the top
other
40.
side. Yeah, we'll rank the top 40 on the other side.
Yeah.
Stay with us. Ben Golliver on the NBA Finals at 4:30. Darren Smith on tonight's U.S. men's national team match against Paraguay at 5 p.m. Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app.
All right, San Diego Sports 760 wants you to see Finger Death Punch and Cody Jinks live, and you could pick the city. We'll handle everything, including the gold merch VIP package. Just tap the contest tab when you're listening to us right here on the free iHeartRadio app to enter. Get tickets at livenation.com.
All right, Schaefer and Sliwa outside here, Piazza, Little Italy. Team USA will play at 6 p.m. tonight. This is the spot to be. We're broadcasting until 5:30. I set this up.
Honestly,
this was all me.
This is freaking perfect.
No, it wasn't me, actually, but we're going to give some shout-outs throughout the course of the afternoon. We do want to thank Windmill Farms, by the way, for making our World Cup coverage possible. There's some great vendors out here this afternoon as well that we'll be talking about over the course of the afternoon. We have giveaways today. We're giving away, in fact, Dave Chappelle tickets. If you want those tickets, tell us your expectations for the U.S. men's national team during the World Cup. And to do that, you have to use the TalkBack mic. Open the app, search for San Diego Sports 760, click the right TalkBack mic. Just by using the TalkBack mic, you're eligible to win a pair of tickets to see Dave Chappelle.
Let's go.
June 21st at Viejas Arena. So listen to this, because we'll have Ben Golliver join us on the NBA Finals, shifting back to San Antonio for Game 5. This is, through 4 games, the highest-rated NBA Finals since 1998. Final of the 6 titles for the Bulls, right?
Yep,
and
that's the year they beat the Jazz. Jordan pushes eyes, little love tap from Jordan on Russell.
This now is officially the most watched NBA Finals through 4 games since the end of the Michael Jordan Bulls era in 1998. Game 4 is the second straight game with more than 20 million viewers. Also an amazing, I mean, these games have been really exciting, truthfully. There have been incredible games in this series.
Yeah, there's kind of, the Knicks have built this, there's no lead that's safe against the New York Knicks. By the way, they did this also, who'd they do it to? The Cleveland Cavs. They were up 22. It's 7.5 to go. So there's been that. I mean, you were already going to get monster ratings. If the Thunder and the Spurs were getting monster ratings, and those are 2 markets that, not everybody's sitting back and they're huge Thunder fans, you throw into the mix, take Wemby and the Knicks, who haven't won a championship since 1973. Obviously, the Knicks, it's the top market in the country as far as size goes and everything else. And put that into the mix with Victor Wembanyama and all these games, like you said, a lot of these games are coming down to the end. Game 1, Game 2, Game 4 comes down to the end. I'm kind of forgetting Game 3 here, how that
Game 3, the Spurs won by 6.
No, it actually did. Yeah, basically all these games, within the last 2 minutes, it's still a game.
Here's the thing. Remember the Oklahoma City-San Antonio series? Everyone's like, oh, my gosh, this is incredible. But it was all predicated on Game 1. The double overtime game, Wemby hits the 30-footer.
That's right.
The next 6 games didn't have a game that came down to a final
until the final game.
But here's my other question. Well, did it even come down to the exact end? Game 7, I'm trying to remember.
I don't think it came down to a possession, but it was a lot closer
close
than some of the earlier games.
Here's my question. How would the ratings compare if Oklahoma City was in this series? Without the effect of Wemby, the first time we've seen Wemby on this stage before, would they be significantly lower or would they be similar?
I think it would be lower. I mean, this is why we use the term. How many times have you seen somebody use the term, that player is box office?
Yeah.
Victor Wembanyama is box office.
Right.
That dude is one of the few athletes that you're stopping what you're doing and you're like, hey, I want to see what's happening. So Shea is not box office. He's just not. The Thunder are really good, but they're not box office. Victor Wembanyama is one of the few players in the NBA today that I'm stopping what I'm doing, and I want to know what Victor Wembanyama is doing in a game. So I think the ratings will be lower. Would they be significantly lower? I don't know. I think there's such a draw to the Knicks, but I think it definitely would have been less without Wemby.
Did you see Wemby today with the media in advance of
Game
5?
What did the villain, as you called him yesterday, what did he do?
He is a villain.
He
was asked if he believes the Spurs can come back and win the NBA Finals. His direct quote is, everybody knows we're going to do it. Direct quote from Victor Wembanyama. Everybody knows we're going to do it. Come back from 3-1 down. Does everyone know that? Because I haven't heard everyone say that.
I like it.
Yeah, I know.
I like him saying it.
Yeah.
He's done some things in these playoffs where I'm like,
what?
By the way, he's done some things too where, what was it? It was like the shoulder that he gave to Chet Holmgren. I didn't like what he did to Brunson. I thought that was just a dumb play. But he's done some things and said some things in this postseason where there's probably some people that, you're right, had a perception of Wemby coming into the playoffs and are walking away with a different perception of Wembanyama. I don't mind it. I like it. I think it's good for the league. And frankly, I said this to you before that I think they got to play stylistically. The Spurs, they need to be a little bit chippy if they're going to win this series. Now, the problem is they choked away 2 games, and to come back from that, we talked about this yesterday. I said that the only bigger choke job of the Spurs giving up that 29-point lead is if the Knicks gave up a 3-1 lead in the series.
Yeah, I agree with that. By the way, what was Wemby? Was 1 for his last 10 or 1 for his last 11? He was 9 for 25 from the floor in that game that they just lost game 4 against
he struggled.
MSG.
By the way, when he's played well, it's almost a guarantee that he wins and they win, right? When he struggles, the game's in the air. You're going to need everybody else. And obviously, he missed those 2 critical free throws as well. He missed 2
massive
free throws.
I mean, it wasn't just one moment. De'Aaron Fox has got most of the attention.
Yeah,
for some
deservedly so, because he had like 3 moments.
But the truth is, Wemby, he never misses back-to-back free throws. 87% in the regular season. He doesn't miss back-to-back free throws, and he did in that spot. They had
crunch time, brother.
Plays.
That's crunch time.
Yeah.
We had a guy walk up here a little bit earlier that's like, "You going to talk about the Spurs choking?" I'm like, dude, we've been talking about it for 2 days. Choking.
Did they choke?
Everybody's been talking about it. But you're right. Wemby at the free throw line, that was huge. This is why it's one thing to be a player in the regular season. It's one thing.
Different.
It's actually what makes. We look at certain play. Let's use the Padres as an example. Have the Padres been clutch in big postseason moments?
Historically?
Just take these last couple of playoffs.
Not 24-25. I mean,
they have it
to a little bit.
22. They had some clutch moments, but have they been clutch?
No.
Like 24-25, I would sit here and tell you at the biggest moments where the Padres
anti-clutch.
Brother, that's the difference between, we're talking about Wemby sitting at that free throw line. Now, I still got confidence Wemby's going to be fine, but don't tell me that Wemby isn't thinking of the moment. I got to hit these 2 free throws. I'm at the Madison Square Garden. It's the NBA Finals. I'm 22 years old. He didn't come through.
Yeah, he did. And now their odds of winning the series are up against it because they're now down 3-1. All right, we will give away these Dave Chappelle tickets. Do you want to do it right now, Brent? We can play a talkback. All right, why don't we do this? We'll play a talkback that we have from the talkback line on expectations for the U.S. men's national team, and then we'll announce the winner of these Dave Chappelle tickets for June 21st at VA House.
Hey, John. Hey, Alan. It's Hector. Watching you guys. My prediction's 1-1. I think Paraguay is going to make some adjustments. They don't have their best player in Cecil, starting forward. So, and they lost 2-1 to the U.S., so I think that it's going to help them out to make some adjustments. But it's a must-win for the U.S. because then they have to play Turkey at the end of the group stage, and that'll probably decide who wins the group. So it'll be close. We're hoping for the best, but I'm picking a draw here, and we'll see what happens.
All right, and who is our winner? Is Hector our winner, Brett? All right, Hector.
Go work,
Congrats.
Hector.
You're going to see Dave Chappelle at VA House Arena on June 21st. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com.
See how easy that is?
Get them before they're gone. How easy is the talkback play?
Get the talkback. So this guy's walking away with Dave Chappelle tickets.
We will tell you how to win tickets to a sold-out Chris Stapleton show in the 4 o'clock hour. But the wrap is next. Ben Golliver from ESPN on the NBA Finals at 4:30. Darren Smith on the U.S. against Paraguay will join us at 5 p.m. Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760. We're live on the iHeartRadio app.
This report is sponsored by Capital One Bank. What's in your wallet? The Padres are in Baltimore getting set to start their weekend series with the O's. It's going to be Griffin Canning going for the Padres and Shane Baz going for Baltimore. First pitch is in about 5 minutes here at 4:05. We got one World Cup final from today. Canada and Bosnia tied at 1 apiece. We will have Team USA's game right here on San Diego Sports 760 beginning at 5:30. Plus, we'll have World Cup action all weekend long right here on San Diego Sports 760 starting tomorrow morning at 11:30 and a Sunday morning at 9:30. Capital One offers no fees or minimums on checking accounts, and most Capital One cafes are open 7 days a week to assist you with your banking needs. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank. Capital One, NA member, FDIC.
All right, hour two, Schaefer and Slee with San Diego Sports 760, broadcasting live here from Little Italy until 5:30. Then pre-match coverage gets underway. USA and Paraguay watch party going on here tonight. So get to Little Italy. We've got a great show lined up for the next 90 minutes. Ben Golliver on the NBA Finals from ESPN will join us at 4:30. Darren Smith, who is a lifelong diehard Knicks fan. And
he's a Knicks fan?
Yeah, he is a Knicks fan. And an expert on soccer will join us coming up at 5 p.m. Of course, works for SDFC on those broadcasts here on 760. He'll join us coming up at 5 p.m. This has been a fun afternoon so far. Beautiful day.
Perfect. Yeah, this is it's kind of all you can ask for. Mike, can you turn it up a little there? There we go. All you can ask for here.
Yeah.
You know, all you can ask for, and then we get a match coming up here. What do we do? We going on stage at 5:30?
Well,
what's your plan?
Here's the thing. Can I make an admission here? I am going to kind of turn to you to do the heavy lifting in the public speaking category. I'm not a public speaker.
You know, you're one of those guys that always says that.
No, I'm serious. I go out there and I'm doing cartwheels and backflips.
No, you're doing the San Diego State stuff all the time.
I am.
You have like true experience.
Yeah, but it's not my favorite thing.
I've seen you walking around downtown with a speaker and a mic and
tarps off, just
beatboxing,
waving my shirt around.
This is what you like to do. This is what you do.
Can you be the lead horse in the public speaking?
Sure, we'll make it happen.
Okay,
Yeah.
if you need me, I mean I'll be there, but I mean I'm almost gonna have to like drink something to do that.
No, you're fine.
I'm fine. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay.
But get down here, Little Italy. The match gets underway at 6 p.m. We're broadcasting live until 5:30. You can hear the match tonight
Everybody
on
will
760.
everybody will have been drinking anyways. They're not going to listen to a word that we say. All we got to
That's
tell them
probably
is
true.
all we got to tell everybody is drink a beer and they'll all cheer.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Or go USA.
Yep.
All right. At 4:30, Ben Golliver. At 5 p.m., Darren Smith. We have Chris Stapleton tickets to give away. But right now, let's get to this.
It's time for the wrap. Presented by Sombrero Mexican Food. Check out their website at sombreromex.com.
Who wins tonight's USA-Paraguay match?
I got USA. USA 2-1. Nothing crazy. Close game. USA handles business. They start their 2026 host World Cup with a W. I say USA over Paraguay 2-1.
I'm going to say 3-1.
3-1.
I'll say U.S. allows the game's first goal and storms back to win 3-1. That's my prediction tonight in Inglewood. Have you seen, by the way, the setup, what they've done? You got a blowout today. I don't know if it's a blowout.
3-1?
It's a blowout.
But
not if they trail early. Everyone's going to be, on their –
because you know how I am. If I was
hands.
at that game, they go up 3-1.
Yeah.
I'm getting on the road. We're trying to beat traffic.
No, you can't leave.
Trying to beat traffic if that's the case.
The World Cup's here every 40 years.
I know, but 3-1 is that's a big lead.
Have you seen the setup though?
I haven't seen it,
they've
no.
had to change the entire stadium for this. They've moved the suites out. They've widened the field. They've run in the grass. It's completely different. It's like unrecognizable for the U.S. tonight against Paraguay in Inglewood. I say 3-1 win. You say 2-1 win.
I got 2-1.
I'm good either way.
Doesn't matter.
All's well that ends well.
Get
They
a W.
win. Next question.
Will there be a game 6 on Tuesday?
Will there be a game 6 on Tuesday? These guys. These choke artists. I will say yes. I think it goes back to New York for a game 6, but I don't think it gets past game 6.
See, I feel as if it gets to a 6th game, the dynamic shifts again, and the pressure returns to New York, knowing that they would have to win that game.
Are they losing 3 in a row after what we've seen?
But it's not even about 3, because if you lose 2 in a row, then of course they could lose 3 in a row.
Well, no, listen, the pressure of just sending it back to New York, you and I were talking about this. Imagine what Madison Square Garden is going to feel like. If you thought game 3, that first game back at the Madison Square Garden, it's an NBA final game they've played since 1999. Clearly, they felt the moment.
Oh, of course.
If you think they felt the moment in game 3, they'll obviously feel it in game 6. But I don't know. It's kind of a combination of just I just don't think the Spurs are ready.
But you do think it gets back to New York?
It gets back to New York, and I think it ends in 6.
I agree. It gets back to New York, and then we'll go from there. But I think as a favorite at home, the Spurs will find a way.
I like that.
To rally and win.
That was very coach talk of you.
You like that?
Hey, one game at a time.
One game at a time.
Yep.
Honestly, if Mitch Johnson, here's my cell phone number, Mitch, if you want to talk to me.
Yep.
Next question.
That's very Nuke LaRouche of you. Do the Padres win their series this weekend in Baltimore?
All right, so we're just doing the series. Do they win the series in Baltimore? Baltimore's below 500, too.
They are.
So it's not like the Orioles or something great. Coming off of the walk-off home run, I don't feel good about this answer. I'm going to say they win the series in Baltimore. I don't feel good about it.
Maybe you don't feel good about it?
I think I'm answering as a fan. I don't think I'm being objective right now.
Did the Orioles end up winning last night against Seattle? Not that it really matters.
I was going to say, is that game your swing game? The afternoon
I'm
game
just looking at what
against
they've
the
done
Mariners?
recently. So they had lost 4 straight, but now they've won 2 straight. They're 4-4 in their last 8, 5-5 in the last 10. This team's average, to your point.
They're very average.
They're very blah. Yeah, I'll trust the Padres, who are a dog tonight with Griffin Canning
Saw that. Yeah,
on the
I saw
mound.
that.
But yeah, I'll trust the Padres to win 2 of the next 3 games in Baltimore. Next question.
Does Manny Machado have a big weekend in his homecoming?
Oh, I already know your answer on
Yes,
this because
I think yes.
I'll pause again. I want to. This is where I guess I could be a little bit more objective. I need Machado to have a stretch where he goes through a couple of weeks where you kind of need Machado to do what Tatis is doing right now. Where Tatis is now, when he gets to the plate, he doesn't look. He kind of has a little bit of that swagger back. You could tell that he's got that confidence. I don't see that in Machado. So I'll have my hesitation, even though I know you're going to go the other way on that.
I think Machado will have a hit in all 3 games, and I think he homers in this series. That's what I'm willing to say. I think he'll have a hit in all 3 games. I think he will homer in this series. And I agree with the general sentiment. That doesn't mean like Manny's back because he had a 4-hit series of the home run in Baltimore. But I would be encouraged to see it if it does play out that way.
You know what we have not said that Acee said? I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right. You know he leads the team in home runs?
What's he got, 11?
11 leads the team in home runs.
You know what's
because I think
interesting,
Sheets got off,
Yeah,
and
the
I think
fast
he's
start.
still sitting at 10.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Like the way baseball's kind of, I'm talking out both sides of my mouth. To some extent, they've devalued the like 160 just hit bombs Chris Davis Baltimore player. There's no long-term deals for the dude that just hits like, well, he hit 31 home runs, but he hit 159. Like there's no value in that player. That's never who Manny has been. Like I don't even trust him to be the high homer guy.
159, 30 home run guy.
You would or wouldn't.
On his team?
Well, it might be Machado, dude. He's probably pacing to be the
Yeah.
170 with a 30 home run season. We need more, though. I need to see him more consistently on base than he has been so far this year. I don't know. It is Manny Machado. Is he really going to do this all year long and just struggle all year long and say it was just a bad year? And I like what you said earlier, that you're encouraged by what Kevin said, that they feel as if it's more mechanical than just like breaking down. It's more about his swing than it is his age.
I got a bad example, but I'll do my best.
Do it.
You're hearing something with your car, and you take it into the mechanic, and you've had this car for a while, and you're like, hey, I think this is it. I think the car is done.
Right.
And you go and you see the mechanic, and he's like, no, the car is fine. You had there's literally one thing that you just have to change. Once you change that, your car is back out on the road.
Right.
Could that be Machado? You know, and here's the problem with the Machado
like
conversation is we're not supposed to be having any negative conversation about Machado for another 3-4 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem with Machado. The problem with Machado, if you told me he only has a couple years left on his contract, it's like, all right, whatever, you're going to eat it. It is what it is. But they're way too dependent on Machado, and he's got obviously way too many years left on his contract.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. And the one thing Kevin also said that we should go back to, the reason why this is the road trip, why maybe 5 wins isn't even enough, is because of what you have after the road trip. The Atlanta Braves and the LA Dodgers, then a trip to Dodger Stadium. You still have to go, I forget where else, Chicago or Toronto as well. Like, you want to build
Arizona
up some
in that
equity.
mix.
Yeah,
the Cubbies are in that mix.
Like you don't want to be 2 games over 500 and then playing 14 games against the Braves and the Dodgers.
You know what's funny? Earlier in the season, I wanted to see them against better competition. I was like, hey, let's kind of, I want to gauge this out. I don't want to see that, right? Like, the timing's not good, right? So if they could go through this 9-game road trip where they just went 5-4, you just got some kind of momentum, or they're just playing better baseball, then maybe you're more open to saying, all right, let's see how they do against Atlanta. They see how they do against the Dodgers and some of these other squads. How can I feel that way right now? I can't feel. I mean, imagine if that road, or imagine if that stretch that you're talking about, that we're talking about, is starting today.
Wouldn't feel
I'm
great.
not looking forward to that.
But let me ask you this on the other side. Is the door slightly ajar in the NL West or not? Is the door slightly ajar in the NL West or not? Plus, Ben Golliver will join us coming up at 4:30 from ESPN. We'll talk about Game 5 of the NBA Finals. Darren Smith on USA and Paraguay and his Knicks at 5 p.m. This is Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760, and live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, DraftKings Sports is live in all 50 states. Yes, that means you, California. The whole world is watching one tournament right now. Group stage chaos, knockout drama, and stoppage time heartbreak.
The DraftKings Sports app is now live in California. So whether you're catching the early kickoff before work or late match at the bar, you're in on every minute, every match, every moment, all in one app. Right here in California, the world's biggest stage is in the palm of your hand. New DraftKings customers sign up with a code SD760. Spend $5 to get $200 in total rewards. That's code SD760.
In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Event trading offered by DraftKings Predictions, a CFTC registered introducing broker. Trading involves risk of loss. Market availability varies. Eligibility restrictions apply. $50 every 7 days via click-to-claim issued in non-withdrawable predictions dollars that expire in 1 year. Ends June 28th. Terms, tkng.co/predictions promo. It is a spectacular day here in Little Italy. We've got Chris Gomez with us right now from the Little Italy Association. He's their executive director. He's been involved here for a number of years.
He's living the good life.
Really
man. This guy is living the good life.
Chris, first of all, we appreciate you having us here this afternoon. We're looking forward to it tonight.
We're honored to have you all. Thank you very much. It's so great to see San Diego FC come out and be a part of multiple communities. And we're here for the soccer celebration. We've been dying for it. Back in 2006, we did the FIFA World Cup right underneath the Little Italy sign when Italy beat France.
Wow.
Luckily, Italy won. It would have been a nightmare if they didn't, but we're excited to see what the season's going to hold.
Tell us about tonight and what we have going on here. We got these vendors. Obviously, we're here broadcasting live. You've got the large viewing area for the match tonight at 6 p.m. Tell us about what's going on out here over the next few hours.
Yeah, so we have our San Diego FC's soccer celebration. We're super excited to partner with San Diego FC on this. We've now activated the Piazza della Familia to highlight the U.S. match, but we did show Canada earlier today. But again, it's a great opportunity to show a public space and how it could be used, both for the vendors and highlighting the business community and also the just general ambiance of what the space is. We are excited to also partner with Global Fork, which is the new food hall in Little Italy. And when they come in, they should be opening their doors next week, and that'll be another great asset to this piazza.
Okay, so you guys, it's not just technically Little Italy. So you guys are putting all these events together, right? The event in Chula Vista, you guys are all a part of as well. So how much goes on behind the scenes to get an event like this? I mean, I walked up, John and I both come to the parking garage. We're like, what the heck is going on here? As beautiful as this is, tell us just kind of behind the scenes what it is to put something like this together.
This has actually been almost a year in the making.
Wow.
The second that we knew that it was moving forward with San Diego FC, we said, look, we got to bring it to Little Italy. We are one of the pilot communities. San Diego FC's corporate offices are here, and we said this is a place to do it.
There you go.
And we said, our focus is really to highlight our new MLS team in San Diego, and we wanted to do that not only with the Fit Social opportunities that they're doing down there as the VIP experience, but work in Chula Vista, work in Little Italy, and really kind of create a different demographic for each sport fan to come out and enjoy.
Chris Gomez is with us right now, executive director of the Little Italy Association.
San Diego native
From Chula Vista, right?
Yep.
Tell us about the piazza in general and how you activate it, because you've got events coming up within the course of the next week that are outside of the World Cup as well, right?
Yeah, definitely. No, we are focused with creating the Piazza della Familia in partnership with H.G. Fenton Company, who owns the residential complexes adjacent, was really to create a dynamic public space that people could come and enjoy. And whether we activate it, whether with events or just people come out on any given day. But a good example, and what you mentioned, is we do have the Taste of Little Italy that's coming up next Tuesday and Wednesday. Tickets are still for sale. They're $65.
Awesome.
Each day you get to try over 20 different restaurants.
Wow.
And then on July 11th, we're going to be looking at doing the Marine Band San Diego Summer Concert. It's a beautiful sunset concert with a 40-piece band that comes out, Marines in full uniform, and they have a brass band and a cover band that comes out. And then finally, to close out July, we're looking at possibly hosting the final match here as well. So yeah, definitely the Piazza della Familia is a place to come and enjoy. We look forward to hosting you all.
All right, final one for me. We'll just keep this soccer. What do you think happens tonight?
U.S. got to take it.
We got to take it, right?
We got to take it. Mexico hit it yesterday. We got to take it, U.S.
All right, so get down here tonight. 6 p.m. is the match time. Team USA and Paraguay. We're on the air until 5:30. It's spectacular. Everything you need is down here.
Literally, this is this isn't a sell. Just get down here. Trust me on this.
70 degrees, San Diego, by the water, Little Italy with Team USA fans. No better spot to be tonight in San Diego. Chris, great to see you. Thank you for swinging by. Appreciate the support. Chris Gomez from the Little Italy Association, again, hosting tonight's watch party for Team USA and Paraguay. We can't wait. U.S. trying to win, much like Mexico did yesterday at the Azteca. Canada got a result with the tie earlier today. Can the U.S. pick up a win over Paraguay up in Inglewood coming up tonight? Stay tuned for that.
That's going to be fun.
I wonder, that atmosphere tonight I bet it's going to be a pretty special atmosphere tonight. In the States, for the first time since 1994, hosting a World Cup match, right? This is the first World Cup match in the States this tournament.
Yep.
It involves Team USA. It's just up the road.
Here's the thing that, you can't, there's certain things you can't fake, right? Like the environment for a game in Mexico.
It's probably going to be a little better.
We'll leave it alone, right? We know what that is. But you could kind of start to stir. Let me just use as an example. Let's say USA won tonight. They won handily. They won 3-1 like you mentioned.
3-1.
There are going to be a lot more people saying to themselves, hey, maybe this country is for real. Maybe our country, maybe the United States in this tournament, maybe they are for real. And you'll wait another week until, obviously you get another opportunity to see it. But I think there is a little bit of the USA soccer team's got to create some hype. There's going to be hype to start the tournament, but you could take that hype to a whole different level if you start off with a win today.
Just my 2 cents on this, not that anyone's overly concerned. I feel as if the U.S., at least their first match in this World Cup, should be played outside. Like Inglewood and SoFi, great building, no question. They've invested a fortune of money on it. I'm sure it's a spectacular building with wonderful amenities.
It makes a ton of sense why Dean went up there since,
made a lot
he
of
didn't
sense.
even have a stadium for himself.
Yeah, as we've always said, it made a ton of sense for the San Diego Chargers to leave.
Yeah.
But we joke. But, you're playing inside. Essentially, it's not true, right? I mean, it's got the open air element to it. I've never been in there.
Okay, it's going to feel. There's a feel of outside.
Is there a feel of outside?
Yeah, because it's basically it's all open air. Gotcha. So I get what you're saying, but
play in Seattle outside. Or
I understand
the Rose Bowl.
I understand that.
But to each their own.
Play at Petco.
Play at Petco.
Padres
play at
Baltimore.
Padres underway.
Okay.
Padres underway tonight with the Orioles. We'll keep you updated on that. But on the other side, Ben Golliver is going to join us. Before we get out of here, though, I do want to let our listeners know that they are eligible to win Chris Stapleton tickets. This is July 11th. The show is sold out. It's at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater in Chula Vista. If you want to win those tickets, tell us why you want to go. We'll announce a winner by 5:30 p.m. Why do you want to see Chris Stapleton July 11th at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater in Chula Vista? Open up the free iHeartRadio app. This is the only way to win. Search for San Diego Sports 760. Click the red talkback microphone and tell us why you want to see Chris Stapleton. I'm a big Chris Stapleton guy, as I've been saying. So
yeah, you've been telling me that.
So open up the app and win those tickets to see Chris Stapleton's sold-out show July 11th at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. Ben Golliver on Game 5. Can the Spurs get back into the series or not? Ben Golliver will join us on the other side. Then Darren Smith at 5 p.m.
Oh, so many questions for Darren.
Tons of questions on the Knicks and on Team USA. For Darren Smith, will join us live tonight at 5 p.m. We're outside here in Little Italy. Come join us. Beautiful day. Watch party going on at 6 p.m. This is Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app.
This report is sponsored by the Palm Springs Aerial Tramway. The Padres and Orioles are playing game 1 of their series right now in Baltimore. It's Griffin Canning going against Shane Bays. And right now, after 1, it is Baltimore 3, Padres 1. We have one World Cup final today to speak of. Canada and Bosnia tied at 1 apiece. We will have Team USA's game right here on San Diego Sports 760 beginning in about an hour at 5:30. And we'll have more World Cup action for you all weekend long on San Diego Sports 760 starting at 11:30 in the morning tomorrow and then again on Sunday at 9:30. Palm Springs Aerial Tramway, rise above and into wonder. The thrill of getting lost in the view, climbing higher, going farther, and seeing what's out there. Palm Springs Aerial Tramway, rise into wonder. Visit pstramway.com.
All right, World Cup action, Team USA, that'll get underway at 6 p.m. We're broadcasting live from Little Italy. Watch party will get underway this afternoon, so come down and hang. We're broadcasting until 5:30, the game at 6. All right, let's get back to the NBA Finals. We got Ben Golliver with us, Brent? All right, Ben Golliver covers the NBA for ESPN. He's with us right now. Schaefer and Slee with San Diego Sports 760. Ben, we appreciate you taking time for us. So, how do the Spurs get off the mat, so to speak, after everything that played out in Game 4? Like, is that feasible or possible considering the way that played out the other night? And thanks for joining us today.
Oh, my pleasure. Yeah, no, I definitely think it's possible. It's interesting. Everybody was asking that question at practice today because you'll remember way back in 2013 when the Spurs lost that horrible Game 6 to the Ray Allen three-pointer. Greg Popovich had the big team dinner, tried to rally the troops for Game 7. But, Mitch Johnson's kind of the anti-Greg Popovich. He doesn't make a big show out of everything. He just tried to say, hey, a couple days are going to pass before the next one. We've got time to refocus. We're back at home, and we're going to try to get back out and do what they're going to keep doing. Clearly, there was a lot to regret if you're the Spurs late in that game. I mean, De'Aaron Fox mistakes, Wemby missing the free throws. I mean, the list goes on. But the Spurs just said, we're going to stick to what we've been doing. Mitch Johnson showed his support for De'Aaron Fox, said the ball is going to be back in his hands again when the game is on the line coming up in Game 5. And they're going to just hope that everything they did to build that lead, that 29-point lead that they blew in Game 4, will help them build another lead and push this series back to New York for Game 6.
Ben, it's interesting. It's not even just Game 4 that they blow. Game 2, they had some opportunities to win. It's just this series, the way it's played out, doesn't feel like a 3-1 series, right? The series seems like it's a lot closer. 2-2 probably exactly where the series should be. What's kind of stood out to you, these end of game or from a coaching perspective, certain players in these clutch situations? What stood out with you with the San Antonio Spurs in crunch time, and what surprises you?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, it's been an incredibly close series, but I think they earned all their losses, didn't they, Alan? I mean, when Wemby is out there throwing the ball off Castle's back and missing clutch free throws, and then on the other end, you've got Jalen Brunson executing at a very, very high level, and you've got OG Anunoby making a very heady play with the tip in to win Game 4. I have a hard time taking anything away from the New York Knicks. I mean, I do feel like the Spurs have been wiser than their youth all season long. They've been an incredibly resilient team. You look at how they battled back from the 3-2 hole against Oklahoma City to pull out that series, Game 7 on the road. It's clear that they have a lot of heart, but late in these finals games, there's no doubt New York has had better composure and I think better execution offensively. I think when the Spurs are at their best, Wemby's, finishing at the rim, and other guys are getting wide open looks at threes. That's sort of what was happening early in Game 4. But when these games are really getting down to the conclusion, the Spurs offensive answers have been drying up. It's been a lot of jump shots. And, if Castle hits a big three-pointer in Game 3, then maybe they can steal one. But otherwise, they're not finding great offense late. Wemby is not doing much in the paint in those situations. And then their open shots for the guys like Champagnie or Vassell, who are great shooters, have just kind of dried up. New York's done a great job of increasing their defensive intensity in these clutch moments. And so, I look at this series as close as it's been, and it's been a lot of coin flip games. I think New York is a very worthy, 3-1 advantage right now. And they've been incredibly focused. Everybody said all the right things at practice today. It's very tempting with this idea of like, well, just go back to Madison Square Garden and win it in 6 in front of the home crowd. And that's not their messaging at all. I mean, they're very focused. I think they want to try to win this thing in 5.
Ben, just quick follow-up to that late game execution you mentioned. So, how much of that is on Mitch Johnson? I know he's a first-year head coach, and I think there definitely been some times where he could have been a little bit more strategic, or, hey, let's stop shooting jumpers, whatever the case. How much of that is on the coaching, you think?
Oh, I definitely agree with you that some of it should be on Mitch Johnson. It's funny. He had a line today saying that if you listen to social media, he's already been fired 212 times this season, which is, pretty incredible because they haven't even played 100 games, right? But, you look at how you let a 29-point lead evaporate way too long between timeouts. He didn't get his guys refocused on clock management. How often were they shooting early clock 3-pointers, forcing 3-pointers up that they just didn't need to do that in the second half as New York's coming back? I mean, at the very least, if you're going to shoot a 3, at least run some clock before you do it. I didn't see a ton of creativity, as well in terms of like the diversity of their offense. It was just a lot of like pound, and pull up jumpers from guys like Fox, which is not going to be the best source of their offense. And then also, I think somebody like Dylan Harper should be playing a lot more minutes. Yeah. You look at this series, when their offense has been humming, it's been with Dylan Harper and Wemby on the court together. Personally, I would have started Dylan Harper in game 3 after they fell into the 2-0 hole. They've continued to just stick with their regular starting lineup. They're getting off to great starts, so I understand why they don't want to shake it up too much. But Harper has got to be on the floor in the biggest moments of this series, and that hasn't always been the case. And I think that they need that extra ball handling, that extra dynamic presence to kind of help shake things up, because they're being held way below their normal averages and efficiency offensively. And the solution to that is more firepower.
ESPN's Ben Golliver with us right now. Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760. This might not be the right word to describe it. I mentioned this yesterday, but do you see Victor Wembanyama as taking on elements of being a dirty player throughout this series or not?
No, I wouldn't go that far. Look, man, if you were getting grabbed and pulled and your arms yanked and bumped every time you're rolling to the basket, I think you would push back a little bit. It's funny. I was talking to a couple different Hall of Famers before the series started. Gary Payton was out here. James Worthy was out here, and they were both like, hey, we loved how he threw that elbow against Minnesota to send them a message like, hey, man, stop messing with me. I'm not like, the soft guy who you can just bully. I'm going to stand up for myself. And I think that as we go forward, you guys know the Jordan rules. What were you supposed to do with Jordan? Knock him on the ground. It's kind of hard to knock Wemby on the ground given how tall he is, but that doesn't mean somebody like Jose Alvarado might not try to lift up his leg like he did the other night, or, Mitch Robinson, with the forearm shiver to his neck during game 4 as well. I mean, he's taking a beating. You can see it, his arms are all gashed up after these games as well. And so I think he's just giving as good as he gets. I like that the referees, for the most part, have let these two teams play just like they did in the Western Conference Finals, which was an absolute bloodbath as well. And, there's been a couple of moments I'm sure Wemby himself would probably want back. He seemed very apologetic towards Karl Anthony Towns after that incident during game 4. But, I think he's one of these guys. He's so competitive. It's almost like by any means necessary, right? Like he's got a little Draymond to him. He's got a little Chris Paul to him. He wants to win that bad. He's talked about winning the championship as almost being like providing meaning to his life. I think he means that. I think he's dead serious. And, he got a taste of coming up just short during the Paris Olympics where he got silver. And I think things like that fuel him even more. And sometimes maybe does go over the line, but I certainly wouldn't call him dirty.
ESPN NBA reporter Ben Golliver joining us here on the Schaefer and Sliwa show. Of course, NBA Finals coming up tomorrow. It will be Game 5. The New York Knicks a chance to close it out. Ben, is there something that can happen tomorrow? Can the Spurs do? Let's say San Antonio wins convincingly tomorrow. Can anything happen to where you think, you know what, maybe the San Antonio Spurs, like you mentioned a little bit earlier, yes, they have not executed great, but let's just say things kind of flip the script. Can something happen in the Spurs-Knicks game tomorrow that makes you think that the San Antonio Spurs can actually come back in this series?
Well, I mean, first of all, let's give them credit. They've done a nice job of limiting Karl Anthony Towns after the first couple of games, right? Now, OG Anunoby has given them some problems, but in general, San Antonio's defense has been excellent. I think that they would take how well they've played against Brunson as well. He's had some great finishing sequences late in these fourth quarters, but by and large, he's been underneath his averages in efficiency standpoint as well. And so San Antonio's defense has been very strong. Their offense has been, good at times, bad at others. They should feel like they're still in the series. And obviously that's easier said than done. I mean, this game 5 is going to be a huge, huge mental test, right? And even Wemby admitted after game 4, hey, this could go two ways, right? Like they could let go of the rope and it's over, or they could band together and try to, go out there and really, push back and give a fight after such a hard loss in game 4. I expect that they're going to fight. I really do. I've seen them favored by the odds makers. It makes sense to me. After losing the first 2 games at home, they probably feel like, hey, we kind of owe it to our fans a little bit to get one. And it's been close enough where I just don't think they're going to roll over. I mean, this is a tough and tough-minded team. And, Wemby has been on a mission all season long, and I think he's not done yet.
Ben, final one for me would be, what's your biggest NBA offseason storyline?
Well, this Giannis thing is percolating, isn't it? I mean, it's starting to get a little interesting and more buzz about, hey, this could happen sooner rather than later. I guess maybe it's more Eastern Conference teams in the mix for his services, at least according to the reports, than Western Conference teams. But obviously that's a major domino. And if that one falls early, you just kind of wonder, well, is there going to be, a trickle-down effect? Like, remember when LeBron went back to Cleveland, right? And then all of a sudden, like 15 other guys, changed teams, really important players, all kind of fell in line after that. So I guess that's really what I'm looking forward to as we get closer to that, draft and free agency is just, okay, if Giannis does move, what are the secondary implications or repercussions from that move? Because, I think when you're looking at teams like the Thunder, you're looking at teams like the Spurs, they're going to be pretty much back no matter what next season, right? And so there's an awful lot of teams out there that say, hey, we have to get better or we're not going to be able to keep up with these guys. And so hopefully that leads them to some really interesting and intriguing moves this summer.
Ben, appreciate you taking time for us this afternoon in San Diego. We're looking forward to Game 5. Thank
you, brother. Appreciate you.
All right, guys. Take care.
All right, great stuff from ESPN's Ben Golliver. Darren Smith with more on Game 5.
Okay.
So, Darren is such a big Knicks fan, but he's also a huge soccer fan.
Yep.
So he's had a lot going on.
Part of the SDFC broadcast, but he's got a little bit of a break now. Now he can actually enjoy some of this Knicks finals.
But he also wants to watch everything going on in the World Cup. I feel like it's an interesting time. Like he's probably really busy.
So let's see. They're done. Let's see. If they go, they'll go Tuesday. And then maybe again on Thursday or Friday.
Yeah.
He was not going to have any. He's not going to have any issues. At least USA games, you won't have any issues.
That's true. All right, Darren's going to join us at 5 p.m. If you want those Chris Stapleton tickets, tell us why on the Talkback mic. Open up the iHeartRadio app, search for 760, and click that red Talkback microphone. Stay with us, Schaefer and Slee with San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, Schaefer and Slew with San Diego Sports 760. Darren Smith will join us live coming up at 5 p.m. We're on the air until 5:30. That's when you can listen to Team USA against Paraguay. Pre-match coverage right here on 760 beginning at 5:30.
All right, America is turning 250, and San Diego Sports 760 is celebrating with $250,000 in cash. Listen for your chance to win $2,500 so you can take the ultimate American getaway. Visit the states, the cities, landmarks, and national parks that make our country amazing. Win your share of $250 grand. Just listen for the keyword, then enter it at sportssd.com. Your next chance to win is coming up after 5 p.m. on San Diego Sports 760.
On one hand, obviously, if you're a Padres fan, you're thinking about the fact that, well, they just got to get their own house in order. 4-12 in their last 16 games.
Not on one hand.
That's on all the hands.
Everything.
But as just a baseball fan, what is interesting to see playing out, for example, in the NL West, is that there was some speculation Shohei Ohtani would be placed on the IL today because of a left knee injury. He has not yet been placed on the IL, although did not appear in today's game against the White Sox. He did not start this game against the White Sox. According to Dave Roberts, he's being given an extra day, and then they're going to go from there. But Shohei Ohtani obviously has been as big of a story as any player in the sports and going over to the Dodgers and is currently listed as day-to-day and right now will avoid an IL stint. For me, I can't even worry about the division, obviously, because the Padres haven't played well enough for them to earn me worrying about the division. That's how I look at it right now.
Yeah, I think that's a bigger story. If you're looking at the Atlanta Braves, who are trying to have potentially the best record in the NL. If Milwaukee's trying to compete with the Dodgers, there's levels to the game. And the Padres are just, they're clearly not on that level. So what are we going to BS each other on of like, oh, this could have a significant impact? Of course, you don't want to see anybody get injured, but Shohei, of course, is such a just elite at everything that he does. Of course, it would have an impact, but you said something to start off the segment. The Padres got to worry about the Padres.
Yep.
Because they got their own internal issues. It's like, I don't know, worrying about something going on across the street when your own house is on fire. It's like, I'm going to go ahead and worry about this house. And that's something that they got to, obviously get the wheels back on.
Do we need to have, Alan, a conversation about Griffin Canning, the starting pitcher for the Padres, who you look up and his ERA is 7. He's been in this rotation for over a month. Now, I'm not saying they have better options. I don't know what their options are right now.
Well, that ERA is going to go up. So whatever it was, it's about to go up.
It's up to 7, including tonight, but it could go up even more because he has really labored through this start tonight in Baltimore, and it doesn't look like he's going to give the Padres any length. He's already allowed 3 runs in the first inning. Padres rotation, we spent so much time in the lineup. There's almost everything we say about the Padres negatively
is about their offense.
Yeah. But the truth is, the injuries to Nick Pivetta and Joe Musgrove obviously were going to be problematic and hard to overcome, and I think we're seeing that play out as well.
Yeah, they don't. It's the problem with the Padres. It's we've talked about this, how they have such little margin for error. Remember the series against Philadelphia, and Estrada gives up a home run, and Jason Adam comes in and gives up a couple solo shots, and I think Morihone gave up a run as well. Mm-hmm. And we didn't rip into the bullpen, but here's the bullpen who's been so good for San Diego, really the last couple of seasons. And here are 3 key players, and we're poking holes in the bullpen because the real story was, well, the Padres can score, and when you need the bullpen to come through, there's no margin for error. So what do you think, Griffin Canning? I think we were all hoping for we're hoping for good things to happen with Giolito. I think Walker Buehler has done his job. The problem with the Padres is you almost got to play perfect baseball to win. And Canning giving up 4 runs in the first 2 innings, not even through. He's an inning and a third through. How are you going to give the Padres a chance when they already struggle offensively?
It's well said. And the struggle for me is like you walk 3 batters in the first inning and the third. You're setting yourself up for failure. Like, this isn't rocket science. And it's hard. Any pitcher is going to struggle, and you're playing in a good hitter's yard like Hampton Yards. This thing's very early. Padres could very well win this game. But the Griffin Canning thing is concerning. And the back of their rotation, I think, is concerning, especially with your point, which is you're asking these pitchers to be so good because the offense hasn't backed the staff. So it's like you're putting more pressure on the pitchers. It's like one of those things. It's like you have a shoulder injury, but then all of a sudden your hip is bothering you because you're like overcompensating for something in your upper body with your lower body. It's like they're all tied together, including in the sport of baseball. Like the pitching is tied to the hitting and vice versa.
Yeah, I'm looking at Griffin Canning. He had a good start against the Mets, only gave up a run. Start before that, gave up 3 in Washington. giving you some length. That's kind of what you're asking for. But obviously, to start this road trip, a 9-game road trip to start it off, and you're already giving up 4 runs, and you and I, most of the people in Baltimore haven't even sat down and grabbed a beer yet,
right?
And it's already 4-2.
If you were in Baltimore tonight, would you have showed up as if would you be in the building? Because you're kind of a late arriver.
Yeah, right now, kind of give me like a third inning. I'm in the seat.
You're by the third.
I'm in the seat. By the third.
You did you went to a game earlier this year in Anaheim. The Padres Angels game. You drove up after work.
I didn't have. That one wasn't. That was a flexible
harder.
one for me. That one was tough.
But you showed up in what inning? What inning did you sit in your seat with a hot dog?
I showed up when the Angels already scored 3.
Oh, it was like a bad game.
But I was there for the other 6 that they scored too, or 5
exactly.
that they scored.
Yeah,
so
that was
not exactly the best game there.
Well, Padres and Orioles underway in their series. Darren Smith will join us coming up at 5 p.m. U.S. and Paraguay, Alan. The U.S., I don't even know when the U.S., along with Canada and Mexico, were awarded this World Cup. It was like 8 or 9 years ago. I mean, a lot of soccer fans have been waiting for this moment for a long, long time. Mm-hmm. And here we are, an hour away, Team USA playing in Southern California in Inglewood against Paraguay. I'm excited to see what it's going to look like on TV, and I'm excited to see what it's going to look like here in Little Italy.
I'll sell this one here. If you're out driving around SD and you're looking for a place to watch USA and Paraguay, stop for a quick second and just come to Little Italy. Mm-hmm. Trust me.
Yeah.
Like all the restaurants you have, obviously you have the bars, but the setup they have for the actual game, the screen that they have set up here, this is going to be a phenomenal place to watch it at.
Yeah. This is, you got everything you need. You got the food, you got the drinks, you got the weather, you've got the screen.
And John's already said everything's on him.
Yeah, exactly.
Guys, don't pay for your beer today. Schaefer's got you.
No.
Put your hand up, John. Put your hand up so everybody can see.
When we go up there,
when
we go up there, are you going to say, "Hey, it's all on me"?
People are clapping for you. They're so excited. Look what you've done for the community.
If it was only that easy. All right, we're going to be here until 5:30, broadcasting live. You can listen to the match on San Diego Sports 760. If you want Chris Stapleton tickets, we're giving away 2. All you got to do is open the iHeartRadio app right now, search for 760, click the red talkback mic, and tell us why you want to go to the concert. By doing that, you are eligible to win 2 free tickets to see Chris Stapleton July 11th at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. We'll announce a winner between now and 5:30. On the other side, though, Darren Smith, diehard, lifelong Knicks fan, U.S. men's national team supporter, big-time soccer fan as well. He will
part
join
of the SDFC
broadcast as well. Friar Territory podcast. Mm-hmm. As busy as all of us.
That's a long resume.
He will join us on the other side to get us ready for tonight with Team USA and also to preview Game 5 of the NBA Finals. Darren Smith on the other side. Schaefer and Sliwa from Little Italy on San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, hey guys, it is Schaefer from my friends at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place, and this is a great weekend to get out to Jamul. You can kick off summer in style at their annual Players Block Party. Enjoy $20 free play for all this Saturday from 6 a.m. to midnight, plus free food from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. in the marketplace. Then keep the celebration going at the Sunset Pool Party at Starlight Pool starting at 6 p.m. And don't miss this all-day summer kickoff event. You can learn more at JamulCasino.com. You're going to love their hotel and spa. You can experience elevated luxury with a refined hotel stay, rooftop relaxation, indulgent spa treatments, all the excitement of Jamul Casino Resort seamlessly brought together in one unforgettable destination. And make sure to get to Tony Gwynn Sports Pub for the World Cup watch parties. You can catch every match on the big screen at Tony Gwynn Sports Pub during their World Cup watch parties. Enjoy game day specials, great food, cold drinks, and an electric atmosphere for every match. Grab your crew and experience all the action with Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place.
This report is sponsored by Anderson Plumbing, Heating, and Air. The Padres and Orioles are playing game 1 of their series right now in Baltimore. Currently, we are in the bottom of the second and tack another one on another 2. And it is currently 6-2 Baltimore in the bottom of the second inning. Griffin Canning is getting lit up. We got one World Cup final from earlier. Canada and Bosnia tied at 1 apiece. We will have Team USA's game right here on San Diego Sports 760 at 5:30. And we'll have more World Cup action all weekend long on San Diego Sports 760 this weekend, starting tomorrow morning at 11:30 and again on Sunday at 9:30. Choosing the right home service company isn't just about fixing what's broken. It's about trusting who's in your home. That's why homeowners count on Anderson for friendly professional service that keeps everything running right. Visit AndersonPHA.com.
All right, with you from Little Italy till 5:30. Pre-match coverage will get underway at 5:30. You can listen to the match right here on San Diego Sports 760. There'll be time to talk about this match, but we do have Darren Smith, who I'm sure has been very much looking forward to this. But we cannot start with anything other than his Knicks, who, of course, are leading the San Antonio Spurs now 3-1. So, Darren, we appreciate you hopping on as always. Where does Game 4 rank for you as a fan in sports or just consuming sports in your lifetime? Where does Game 4 rank for you in terms of like most incredible moments as a sports fan? And thanks for doing it, man.
Always appreciate it. I mean, today it's right there at the top, probably, just because it happened. I also think you have to wait and see what happens tomorrow, and then what happens if there's a 6 and what happens if there's a 7.
Oh, yeah.
Because that will clearly change the context of it, right? Like that will change the context of that moment. So in terms of just a standalone event, you know, I can't think of many things that I've ever seen in my life that just kept me glued to social media channels, just watching different angles of it, different reactions to it. It's just been an incredible thing to watch. And, you know, to see how much it meant to so many people, from some of the bigger names, right? Like celebrities, whether that's annoying or not annoying, or people are indifferent to it, or to people that were in the building and the people that were watching in different boroughs and on different corners. I mean, just to see all of that stuff for the last couple of days, it's definitely a where were you when it happened kind of moment. So, yeah, it was a lot. I mean, it's a lot. You know, like, I'm not gonna lie, like a little afraid here, a little emotionally not quite empty yet, but you know, we're definitely got about a quarter tank left. So I don't know how to describe it. I just told my wife, she was on the road that night, and I just kept saying, like, I don't know how to describe what it was that I just experienced. And, you know, that's it. Like, it was an experience. And, yeah, I don't know that we'll ever see anything like that again.
Bigger than the Tatis walk-off a couple days ago during the Cincinnati? Bigger than that? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that I had to process 2 of those things within the span of about 3.5 hours. Yeah, like that was a tough. I saw Larry David go on. You know, he obviously was sitting there courtside and had that incredible reaction. Really, one of the most amazing moments of Game 4. Like such an important moment for Knicks fans to see what happened with Josh Hart when he misses that layup. Like that was it. Like same reaction from all of us, because we've seen moments like that on that goal, like on that side of the court at home. And he said it probably took some time off the back end of his life. Like, I mean, that's what it felt like. It really did. It just was, it was something, man. I still don't even know. I mean, it's just someday somebody's going to write books about it and do documentaries about it. That's for sure.
Darren Smith joining us here, of course, part of the SDFC broadcast. Darren, let's jump to tonight's game. So yeah, you and I chatted last week. I thought you said something interesting. I want you to get back into it, but I asked what's a successful run for the U.S. in this World Cup. And you mentioned something to the effect, without even kind of getting to how far they get to, you mentioned something about all the attention in this country is on the U.S. soccer team. Can you kind of go a little bit deeper into that? Obviously, we're about an hour away from that match starting. What is go back to what you deem successful and how much of that has to do with what the support looks like in this country for this run?
Sure. I mean, I think success, when I get asked that and when others get asked that question, you think of it just in terms of wins and losses. Is it successful to just get out of the group, or is it having to win the group, right? In Group D to make it to a knockout round. Is it winning a knockout round, or is it winning the second game? And I think all of that's fair. I think all of that is, it's the way we look at sports, right? One team wins, one team loses. And even in soccer, sometimes you can have the draw, but that's not the point. And I think what I was saying is like what sort of impact can you have? Can you have one of these moments? I don't think U.S. soccer has really captivated a lot of people in the United States, way more than it was last time that the U.S. hosted the tournament in 1994, for sure, right? Didn't even have a league back in 1994. Now at least you have a domestic league, you have a second domestic league. So it's grown a lot, still has a long ways to go, but can you create something here that people will remember and people will talk about? We just got done talking about the fourth game of the NBA Finals, and that's something that people will talk about. I will talk about that for the rest of my life. Mm-hmm. So, can something happen here that even if the U.S. comes up short and doesn't make it to the final, which I don't think they will, or maybe not even to the semifinal, can they do something here that gets people's attention, that people go somewhere down the road, somebody's going, I remember how important that moment was, how impactful that moment was. And it made me a fan, and it, put them on the radar in a way that they had never been before. I think that's part of why you want to host a tournament. There's so many cynical reasons why you want to host a tournament with all the money and all these stupid commercials and the hydration breaks, et cetera. And all the criticism is deserved. But I also think you want to host because you want to truly grow this sport. And this is an opportunity that you haven't had since 1994. So I do think that is part of what the goal is for U.S. soccer.
Darren Smith with us right now. Again, the U.S. will get underway here in the 2026 World Cup in about an hour against Paraguay up near L.A. in Inglewood. Is there anything surprising, Darren? I know you tweeted about the U.S.'s starting lineup here tonight against Paraguay. Can you kind of take us inside some of the decisions that have been made as we get ready for this match here tonight?
Surprising in a good way. So if you saw what I tweeted, quote tweeted the name Chris Richards. Chris Richards is the best defensive player that the U.S. has. He's been injured. He was a question mark going into this match. He plays for a team in England that just played for a European Cup not too long ago, and he was too injured to play in a Cup final. So it became a little bit of a mystery whether or not Chris Richards was going to be healthy enough to play. And whether he was or wasn't for tonight, to me, really wasn't that big of a deal. But the question was, could you get him back during group stage? I think you could get through it tonight without him. You don't want to go too long without him, though, because he is, I think, your best defensive player. And most people that follow this team, I think, would agree with that. And especially when you're starting a player in goal tonight who's an MLS goalkeeper who's never started in the World Cup. His name is Matt Freese. He plays for NYCFC. Is he going to have some jitters? Who knows? And the one thing I think that, as good as the U.S. has played in some of these tune-up matches, they still look a little shaky defensively. So having your best defensive player back from the opening whistle of this tournament feels like it's a really, really big deal. Other than that, I don't see any surprises whatsoever. I think if you gave every U.S. men's national team fan a pen and said, write down what your starting 11 would look like based on this roster, based on available players, this is probably pretty close to what everybody would have expected.
Darren, what'd you make of Mexico's win yesterday and obviously kicking off the World Cup at the Azteca? What did you make of their result?
What a scene, huh? What a stadium. Isn't that place amazing? So cool. I loved it. Loved everything about it. It's just, there's so much history there. And 1970 World Cup with Pele and 1986 World Cup with Diego Maradona. And here you go again. And you open up the tournament and, they win. And I don't think they would give the win back. But, when you play a man up at home against what appeared to be a pretty disorganized South African team, maybe 2-0 feels like it could have been a little bit more. Like I said, I don't think they'd give the game back. get out of the gate, win it, keep a clean sheet. Just hope that somewhere down the road, goal differential doesn't come in, because it felt like the kind of match where you might want to, be a little bit greedy here and try to get a third, try to get a fourth, right? Just because of all these goofy tie-breaking scenarios somewhere down the road. But all in all, I think it was good. Probably not great. Great story with Raul Jimenez returning. This guy had a life-threatening head injury when he was playing in England, and he returned. He started. He scored. What an emotional moment that was. So all in all, pretty good. I give it about a solid B+ for Mexico out of the gate.
What do you expect tonight from Team USA against Paraguay?
Tense, very tense. Paraguay is a team that focuses way more on goal prevention than they do on goal scoring. So they want to sit back, defend. It's annoying. Not my preferred brand. That's why I'm really happy that I get to work with SDFC and a coach like Mikey Vadas in a style where they want to play, as they say, on the front foot and try to score. Paraguay doesn't want to do that. U.S. will certainly face a challenge trying to navigate its way through this defensive-minded team. So expect it to be pretty low, and you really don't want to concede first, because then Paraguay is even going to be more in that mindset. So I think the first goal is going to be so important here. It's going to be super difficult to get it. I think, you never know, nerves as the home team, right? All of that's going to come into play. Nerves across the board in every one of these matches, but certainly for the home side, that's carrying a level of expectation that it's never carried before, right? None of these guys, some of them have played in the World Cup, but nobody's ever done this. Nobody's ever done this in the U.S. So they have an opportunity here. And plus, just it's important to make sure that you get out strong in this first one. You cannot come up on the short end of it. So it's going to be tricky. I think it'll be, 1-0, 2-1, something like that. They played each other last year. It was 2-1. But the stakes were just a little bit different. That was a friendly, so it'll be difficult. It's going to be super tricky for them for sure.
Darren, final one from me. Just the group in general. What do you expect in group play? Obviously, you got this match starting things off, but what do you expect from group play from the U.S.?
Well, the pressure of wanting to win out of the gate because you're playing at home is important. A lot of times, Alan, when you go into these tournaments, you're just trying not to lose that first one, right? Because you don't want to put yourself behind the 8 ball where you feel like you got to go out and you got to win them. But the U.S. is probably going to feel like it's got to win this one, right? Because Australia, I think, Australia had some success, got out of their group in 2022. So feeling probably pretty good about themselves. I would say that's the opponent that you would write in 3 points right there. Turkey at the end of it, I don't know. I mean, if you go into that game and you need it, you need the win to get out of the group, I think that's going to be an incredibly nerve-wracking run-up to the final game of the group. There's no superstar, right? Like there's no... as casual fans, somebody would go, well, I look at this and I don't see Brazil and I don't see Germany and I don't see Argentina. So, what's the problem? It's just that it's defensive team Paraguay going to be ready for the match. Australia had something going back in 2022, and Turkey was the last team to qualify. But, they've got some talent. They got players that play for Real Madrid. So, they have talent, and they're probably thinking they're the favorites in this group. So, I think, again, it goes to this tricky one, this knuckleball of a match here tonight. Like, hopefully, you can square it up, but it is not a star-studded group, right? But it is a balanced group. So I don't think there's any gimmies here at all. It's not the group of death, but you look at some of these other groups and you're like, yeah, okay, that team's going to steamroll that team. There's none of that here in this group for me.
Really good insight. I would say it, I guess, in air quotes, like enjoy the next 48 hours. You got U.S. men's national team. You've got the Knicks trying to close out the Spurs, but I know it's tense. I know it's enjoyable, but I know there's a tense element to it as well. So enjoy it.
Can I just say before you go? Because I haven't said this anywhere else. On a flight tomorrow, 6:30 a.m. to San Antonio.
Wow.
There you go.
Look
Smart
at you.
move.
Good for you, Darren.
Smart
Seriously.
move, Darren.
Life is for living, and you don't know if you're going to get this again.
Life is for living.
Life is for
Well,
living.
does he know?
I couldn't do this. I couldn't do it in '94. I was 21 years old. Now I can. And I went back and forth about the money. And like you said, life is for the living. Buy a ticket, take the ride, as Hunter S. Thompson
There you go.
said.
Dude,
There you go,
That's
Darren.
amazing. You can't take it with you. So enjoy that. hopefully tonight to remember for your Knicks in San Antonio. Appreciate you doing it, man.
Thank
Enjoy
you, Darren.
tonight and tomorrow too.
Always a pleasure.
Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff from Darren Smith. Let's
Go
take
for
the
him.
time out.
Yeah, good for him. He's going.
We're here until 5:30. U.S. men's national team will play tonight. We're giving away Chris Stapleton tickets as well. Stay with us, Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, the watch party about to get underway here in Little Italy. Schaefer and Sliwa for a final time, because you can hear the match tonight on San Diego Sports 760. Pre-match coverage at 5:30. Then you'll hear the game. Team USA, Allen, against Paraguay coming up at 6 p.m. This will be a great atmosphere in Little Italy.
Already is. Look at this.
Fans filing in for tonight. Game one for
Honestly,
Team USA.
I don't even think they're here for the game. I think they're literally here just to see you.
Are they here for us?
It's not us. No. They're here to see you.
That's a good point.
This is going to be an incredible atmosphere. I like what Darren said, too. Just the key of getting off to making sure you win this first game, making sure that you kind of start building some momentum. You and I talked a little bit about this. We can be honest about it. I mean, here in the States, you got a lot of distractions. Your distraction might be MLB and us watching the San Diego Padres every single day. Your distraction might be the NBA Finals.
Stanley Cup is going on right now.
But I think Darren's point about, let's have a moment in this World Cup. Something happens where we could be talking about it 10 years from now, 15 years from now.
Yeah.
And that's up to, obviously we'll see how the actual team does, but it's going to take something like that to, I think, really grow the sport here in the States, and we'll see if USA Soccer can represent that tonight.
Would you take a tie?
I think that'd be a disappointment.
So you wouldn't take it?
No.
Okay,
I think
you want
that'd be
the
a
win.
Disappointment. Yeah, I think they need a W. Especially, listen, like we said, you're playing here. Obviously they're playing in LA.
It's home soil.
And there's going to be, let's not pretend here. There's going to be some of these guys that, of course, there's going to be some nerves. Of course, there's going to be some nervousness and everything else. But you're so early in starting the World Cup. Like, is this really where the nerves are? Nerves would be later on if you're in the round of 16 or round of 8.
USA tonight plus 105 to win, plus 220 to draw. Paraguay tonight plus 310 to win in Inglewood against Team USA. All right, so there's that. And then you mentioned a lot of our attention, obviously, locally on the Padres. Their road trip underway in Baltimore against the Orioles, where Baltimore is all over San Diego right now. They lead 6-2 through 3 innings. Griffin Canning really struggling here tonight. Once again, his ERA for the season over 7 at 7.39. He's issued 4 more walks here today, Alan. So the Padres have some work to do tonight in Baltimore terrible with their offense.
Yeah, he's giving them no chance. He's giving them no shot in this game. You mentioned the walks. Machado with a terrible play at third. I mean, listen, it ate him up a little bit, but cost them 2 runs. I don't know if they give up a hit on that, or is that probably a hit?
It is a hit.
Yeah, I think he probably gave up a hit on it. But, not the way you want to obviously start this road trip. You got 9 games. You're trying to work your way back into the mix. You're trying to gain some type of momentum. Obviously, an awful way to start.
Here's the one thing I would say. They've had some 4-run comebacks. Maybe it's wishful. Their offense hasn't done anything, by and large, for the last 3 weeks. I don't think this game's over. We'll see. Maybe it is. 6-2 Baltimore through 3 innings. But again, Griffin Canning is the concern for the Padres offensively.
People in the chat saying he killed it in the 3rd inning. So
they killed it.
Then everything's fine now.
I'm trying to see how did the Padres score in this game tonight? I don't even know. They had none run in the 1st inning. We've been doing the show, but whatever. 2 runs in 3 innings tonight in Baltimore. Okay.
You said Tatis got something? Didn't Tatis do something?
Oh, Tatis had the RBI single. Yeah. So Tatis is still hot. We talked about that earlier. Like Tatis, has he been Mr. Singles? I think ESPN said, right?
Mr. Singles.
He's become Mr. Singles.
By the way, not the title for Tatis.
No, not the one he was probably looking for.
Luis Ariz, not Fernando Tatis.
Yeah, not necessarily the one he was looking for. All right, so look at this going on right now. We got this gorgeous day. We got fans setting up in front of the big screen. We got people mingling. We're going to be here.
I think we're Pub Grill. You and I, Princess Pub Grill.
I need some food.
That place kind of OG. Place been around for a while here in SD, and
it's gonna be a great spot tonight.
People that got in there, they got in that patio area a little bit early. They got here before we did, so I can only imagine how they're feeling right now.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
But they got a good seat. They got the perfect seat
tonight. This is the spot to be. Get to Little Italy. Match gets underway at 6 p.m. I am really excited for it. I loved watching the build-up to Mexico yesterday. I love that. The lineup, the introductions, the players coming out. I love all of that. The pomp and circumstance. I'm excited for that tonight.
It's the one thing that the World Cup does, because it's once every 4 years. You don't have to be the biggest soccer fan. You don't have to be watching Premier League games every single day. I mean, I know for us, we're about a year and a half into having an MLS team in San Diego. I mean, it's been a phenomenal addition. But once the World Cup starts, there's a lot of things that whatever you were doing in the past, like you pause it for the World Cup. I mean, you've seen this. I mean, obviously MLS pauses for the World Cup.
Literally, yeah.
So this should be fun to watch.
All right, you can hear the match right here on San Diego
Good
Sports
anticipation.
760. Get to Little Italy. We're back Monday, Alan.
Yes, sir.
On San Diego Sports 760. Schaefer and Sliwa from 3 to 6 p.m. Full reaction to all of this coming up on Monday. If you missed anything today, sportssd.com or the iHeartRadio app. Thank you to Micah Usher and Brent Sperry. For Alan, I'm John. This is Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. US coming up next on 760.